Hey. Okay. Welcome back to the Magic Hours. I am Zoe Flowers. Let's get into this plantation reading. Wow. This is interesting because I just shuffled and this was at the bottom of the deck, the Ten of Wands. Interesting. It was in reverse. All right. Ten of Wands reversed. And then we also have the Emperor reversed. That's interesting. Okay. We haven't even well, I guess we did start the reading. All right. So we know that a couple of weeks ago, oh wow. Ooh. And then we got the zombie here, also in reverse. Okay. So we know that the Nottingham plantation in Louisiana burned to the ground mysteriously a couple of weeks ago. And then a couple of days after that, there was some sort of, I guess a man had a Confederate museum in his house. And I guess it's like an informal museum. And the museum might even be a strong word, but at any rate, I have one more deck here. A tree fell through and destroyed it. And then this week we had another plantation, this one in DC, burning. And so it's interesting, right? Because this is I guess what I'm hearing is this is sort of the overall theme. This is the setup. This is the background for what's going on. Okay. So we have the Ten of Wands in reverse. The Ten of Wands in reverse. And so that is setbacks. It is a literal collapse. It is a breakdown. And then we have the Emperor, right? And we know that emperors, what do? They guard their empires. They are imposing. They are, when it's in the reverse, very rigid. And tens are also the end of a cycle. And then we have zombie in reverse, which is control. This hair is getting on my nerves. Okay. So for me, obviously the zombie is the undead, right? And we literally have a hand reaching out from the grave. So what is the energy? Okay. Is this the result of I couldn't even get it out? My question was, is this the result of people working with their ancestors? Okay, is this a result of energetic work that's been done? Now, this is the Three of the Three of Cups. This is a card of celebration. It is in the reverse. But this is a yes card. We always say, those of us of this sort of ilk, those of us of this sort of lineage, that our ancestors are not dead. They are living. This is the result of, wow. Here's the Emperor again, this time in the upright. No, I think that's the King of... That's actually the King of Swords. That's the King of Swords. That's the King of Swords. And then this is the Queen of Swords. Okay. Um, these are the swords of truth. This has to do with the element of air. It is Gemini season. That thing did burn in Gemini season, not the Nottingham though. That was Pisces season. But it is interesting that we have the king and the queen here. So I guess my question is this supposed to represent, does this represent the ancestors? Does this represent the ancestors? We got the Seven of Pentacles. Now this is super interesting, this Seven of Pentacles, because this is a maybe. And when it's in the upright, it has to do with reward and patience. But when it's in the reverse, it has to do with setbacks and unfinished work and lack of growth. So instead of asking if this is the ancestors, because that's maybe, because the court cards can also be ways of being that we need to adopt. So is this King and Queen of Swords actually a message to people doing ancestor work? To keep going? Is this a call for that? Wow. Well, that's clear. That's clear. Is this a message from our ancestors telling us to take this action? That's very clear. Okay. Is this a plot to erase history? Is this a scheme? Are they trying to erase history? Because that's what I thought. Wow. I got the Tower in reverse, which is a no. And here we have the Hierophant. These institutions. One more card, they're saying. What is the message of this? Maybe one more. What's the message of this? I don't understand. I don't understand. Okay. So. What does this have to do with the plantations burning? Okay, I got that. Okay. Okay. I know y'all are like, why is she making all these faces? All right, so let's tell this story, okay? So the first thing, again, the overall message here, the overall vibe is that this is about the end, the collapse, the breakdown of a certain type of leadership, a certain type of energies happening in our sphere. And this has to do with certain people. Well, again, this represents the ancestors, the undead. Our ancestors are not dead. They're very much alive. And what we're seeing is a result of us working with our ancestors in an attempt to address this Three of Cups energy, the loneliness, the desperation, the fear, the anger, which is what this represents when it's in the when it's upside down. Okay, that's what it is. That's what this work was. People came together to do. 3 times 3. You got 3 here. 3 of Cups, right? So the cups are upside down because all the good stuff, all the emotions have flown out, right? So that is a result of what we're seeing. And then we have the king, and so what I asked was, is this the ancestors like doing the work? And what I got was a maybe, right? This is a maybe card, 7 of Pentacles in reverse. This has to do with a lack of growth and unfinished work. So then I ask, oh, so are you saying that this is for the people to keep doing their ancestor work? We need to be like king and queen energy. We need to keep it going. These are both swords. And so, swords has to do with ideas and the mind. And so for me, it's like, yeah, there's unfinished business. Keep going. But I feel like this is also like, this is work of the mind first, right? This is they're looking at things differently, okay? Looking at things from a more empowered place. And what they're saying is you have more power than you think you do. So act from that. Live from that. Use this as an example of what is possible. So then I asked for clarification on that, and I got absolutely yes. This is a result of our ancestor work, in particular bringing things together with the Chariot, because you have to have a lot of things coming together in order to make things work. So that's 2 yeses, right? You got to pull a lot of things together. So it is a success, but it's a hard won success, like I always say, because you have to use, again, brain power and spiritual power to move this chariot forward, right? Because the person is not touching the reins in any way. They're solely using their mind, their cosmic power, and their spiritual power, which goes back to the King and Queen of Swords, right? This is a new conversation. This is a new way of being in the world. It's a new way of addressing these issues, all right? So then I ask, is this something that the certain people are doing on purpose to erase history? Right? Are they, because I had that thought too, like, oh, are they doing this to like, yeah, erase history so then they can say, oh, this never happened, these things were a choice, blah, 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 right? By getting rid of these places. But I got the Tower in reverse. So when we have the Tower in reverse, we're talking about resisting change. We're talking about delaying the inevitable, and we're talking about lying. And what are we delaying the inevitable of? These outdated structures. These outdated structures with the Hierophant here. These structures that no longer have a place in our society. All right? The structures of getting played, being manipulated, being lied to, being controlled. Now, there's also something here about sexual protection. Here, as I just asked for a little bit more, like why now? And again, I got getting played, and then I got sexual protection. I don't know about that. I'm gonna have to put that to the side. But the other question was why, and I got revenge, cover up, secret, and the star, the light at the end of the tunnel. So this revenge, does this revenge have to do with, like, obviously what was done to, yes. Yeah, look at that. And we got wands, fire. I literally cannot make this up. The Ace of Wands, a gift from the universe, fire. Revenge for what was done. Period. The manipulation, the lies, all of the things. Okay? That was the why. Now, cover up and secret. What's being covered up? I'm hearing the person who did it. No. No, that's not the cover up. Trying to whitewash history. Yes. Tired, exhausted. Right? This is like the wounded warrior. So that's the cover up. Just like, yeah. And then what is the secret? What is the secret? We got the Fool. A fresh start. Secret and the Fool. Is the Fool the person setting the fires? In this reading, does the secret have to do with keeping the secret of the person who started the fires? Yes. Yes. They're planners, they're grounded, they're ambitious. All right? So does that mean people know who did this? Does that mean people know who did this? Oh, and the Star card was also working with the ancestors. Do people know who did this? Temperance, yes. Yes, people know who did this. Knight of Cups in reverse is also a yes. Knight of Cups, when we see a knight, that's the end of a long-term situation. So people know who did this. They're keeping it a secret. All right, they're keeping it a secret. Is it a group of people? Now I feel like I'm getting to... Is it a group of people? We got yes. We got the Six of Cups in reverse. When it's in the upright, it's about nostalgia. It's about childhood. It's about naivete. Again, it's like being stuck in the past. So yeah. And then we got the Ace of Wands again. Creative spark. So yeah, it's a group of folks. I'm not going to ask too much more because that's not my business. This sexual protection, is this some kind of message to somebody in particular? I got yes. Security, emotional stability. So these burnings are a message to somebody around sexual protection. I'm not going to delve too much into that because it feels kind of murky. But we'll just leave it there. Will there be more? Will we see more of these burnings crop up around the country? I got the Ten of Cups again. This is a yes. And I got the Karma card, which is also a yes. Which is lack of control, unwanted changes, and delays. I wonder if there'll be two more. Because we have two cards here. But I'm not sure. But yeah, there'll be more. Okay? That's what I got. Let me know what you think about this. All right? I'll see you soon. Bye.